Hey guys, Coop here. Today we're going to, I'm going to do a recap, an update on my Common Man's Paracord jig. I'm going to actually show you this jig from start to finish, how to make it. You know, I've had a few people that's been interested in it, and I thought it'd be a good video to update. The first video I really didn't go into detail on how to make it. This step will actually show you how I make it, and I'm going to pause this here for a minute and go to the supplies you'll need to make this and the measurements and all that. So if you guys will hang on with me, we'll get her done. Okay guys, to start off with, you'll need a 1x2 fairing strip that you can get at Lowe's. I paid 75 cents a piece for these. You'll need 2 of them. They come in 1 inch by 2 inch by 8 feet long. You'll need 2. 2 is a little bit more than what you'll need, but you will need 2 to make this 15-inch jig. Alright, another item you'll need is 1 3-inch by 1/4 inch threaded bolt. Next item you'll need will be a 1/4 inch diameter hole, 1.5 inch wide washer. You'll need 1 small washer. If you choose to use screws in your jig, you'll need some drywall screws, little small drywall screws. You'll need glue. You'll need 4 cable clamps, nylon cable clamps. You can get these at Harbor Freight, Lowe's, Home Depot. You'll need a 1/4 inch drill bit. Of course, you'll need a marker, some way to measure your stuff, either a ruler, a yardstick, or a tape measure. You'll need a saw. Now, if you buy your materials at Lowe's, Lowe's will cut the material for you. They will cut all your stuff. All you have to do is have all the measurements. And I'm going to break down the measurements here in just a minute. Now, as far as supplies, I've covered all the supplies you'll need. Well, the only one I didn't cover are the little 1/4 inch long wood screws, the little tiny wood screws. You'll need 4 of those to attach your wood clamps. Now these pins back here, these are my lanyard pins that I make my lanyards and keychains with. This is an optional item. You can use anything, dowel rod, screws, whatever you choose to use. I so happen I found these things at Harbor Freight. There's some kind of little welding rod, and they work perfect for what I use them for. Alright, now the lengths and widths of everything you'll need. Now this particular jig here is 20 inches long, so you'll have to have the guys at Lowe's, if they cut it for you, will have to cut you 4 pieces at 20 inches long. That'll make your 2 side runners and your 2 flat plates. Then, to get your width in the middle, you'll need 3 blocks, all the same size, at 3 1/4 inches long. And I've actually added a little spacer on top of mine. You don't have to, but I did. If you want to add a spacer, all I did was took one of these blocks and cut it right down the center, and then used each half on the top 2. And that's pretty much it, guys. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. You just remember, you need 3 blocks at 3 1/4 inches long. You need 4 pieces of board cut 20 inches long. And then the rest of the video will show you how to put it all together. So come on outside with me and we'll get started. Okay guys, now what we're going to do is we're going to begin by cutting 4 of these fairing strips 20 inches long. So just take your ruler and come down, or your measuring tape, and come down and mark your 20-inch mark. And we'll take our square take our saw. Now we're going to cut her. And there you go, 20 inches. Now we're going to do that 3 more times. And I'm not going to let you sit there, I'm not going to make you sit there and watch me cut all 4 of them, so I'll come back to you with the next step. Okay guys, now that I've got all 4 of my boards cut, now the easiest way to do this is just try and find the center of your board. Okay, you'll have 2 of them that you'll have to find the center of on the small end, and 2 of them you'll find the center on the wide end. And what you'll do is you'll put a mark right there showing your center line on both pieces of wood. And it makes it easier because then all you have to do is just line up your marks and glue them down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take my glue. I'm going to run it on the inside of the small one. I just use regular old Elmer's wood glue, which is caked up, so we'll uncake it. And I just run a small bead. It don't have to be that thick, all the way down it. And once I get that done, I rub it in. Okay, once that's done, just line your marks up on each end. And I usually just take a clamp, just take a couple clamps, hold your 2 pieces together, and clamp it. There's one done. And once you have them clamped and you have them centered, just let them sit there and dry. Now that you see that point, I'll go ahead and pause it here and get back with you on the next step in a few minutes. Okay guys, now that we've got our sides all done, we're going to measure for the inserts to join the 2 together. Now this thing here measures at 1.5 inches, so we're going to go 1.5 inches times 2, which is 3. So now we've got to add 1/4 inch to that 3 inches to come up with our inside diameter for our screw. So that'll be 3 1/4 inches. So we need to cut a block, 2 blocks, 3 1/4 inches long. And we'll take the spare piece that we have left over from cutting our other pieces. We'll measure out 3 1/4 inches. Take the old square. Draw our line. And we take our big saw like we did before. and cut it. Now we're going to need 5 of these for the way I'm making this jig this time. So now that you got the the size that you need, go ahead and I'm going to pause it here, and I'm going to cut the rest of mine. Now you'll more than likely end up having to use some off of your other piece, the other fairing strip that you bought, but you won't use that much. That's why I said you had to buy 2 of them instead of just 1. Alright guys, I'll get back to you in a few minutes. Okay guys, now that we've got all of our extra pieces cut, I'm going to lay 2 down on the table and set my boards on them. Take the other 2 and line up each of my ends like so. That way it's all nice and straight. Now I'm going to take these 2 right here, put one on one end and one on the other end. Just take your glue, put your glue, put your glue on there. It don't take a whole lot on this stuff, just a little on each end, and spread it around. You don't need to do the whole block because you're not gluing the whole block. Then you just put it down, line it up evenly, and then we'll do the same thing to the other end. Once we have everything lined up and the glue applied, then I usually take a clamp, and if you don't have a clamp, that's alright. You can use paracord or rubber bands or anything you can, and I just put them right around the ends to squeeze it tight. And when you squeeze it tight, that'll be enough to hold that piece of wood in there while the glue sets. Now if you want to put screws in there, you can, but just remember you're going to be attaching stuff to the top piece, so you want to be careful with the amount of screws you put in here. And we take another one down on this end. Now we just let the glue dry, and I'll get back with you on the next step. Okay guys, now that we have everything glued up, we're almost done. Jig is all put together, runner down the middle. All we have to do is drill our hole in our slide so that we can put our bolt through it. So I'm going to show you how I do that. I'm not going to show you how I actually drill it, but I'm going to show you how I figure where my hole's at. And it's pretty simple. You just put the block on there, you take your bolt, flip your jig over, and just shove it through. Kind of twist it around a little bit. That'll mark your board underneath. Pull it up, boom, drill your hole. That simple. Or you could even just clamp it to it and drill it from the other side. It's up to you how you want to do it. So I'm going to go ahead and drill my hole and get back with you just in a few minutes. Okay guys, now that I have my hole drilled, just put your bolt up through the bottom, put your jig slide through, put your the washer on top, and put your wing nut on it, and just tighten it down. Now this will allow your slide to move, and when you need to tighten it up, there you go. Done. Now all we have left to do is mark our ruler on it, and we'll be almost ready to make paracord bracelets. And I'm going to go ahead and set this up in my vise so I have a nice level ground to mark my ruler on, and I'll get back with you guys in a few minutes. Okay guys, I've got my jig set up now, getting ready to mark my ruler on here. And the best way to do this is, you've got your stopper up here where your buckles are going to be fastened. You'll want to take your ruler and butt it right up against that. That way it'll give you the proper ruler depth. Alright guys, now all I do is I just mark every inch and every half inch. I don't mark the little stuff because this isn't rocket science. It's not made to be. It's a bracelet or a lanyard, so it doesn't have to be exact, but it's going to be close enough to get the results that you want. So now that I've got everything where I need it, I just come and I'll just put a little mark at every half inch and every inch. If you want to put 1/4 inches on there, you can. If you don't want to, that's fine too. And once I get all my marks marked, I'll grab my square. I lay my square down and I draw my lines. Simple as that. I'm going to go ahead and finish up with the rest of this, marking this, and I'll get back with you in a few minutes. Okay guys, now that you have your ruler all marked on both sides, only thing left to do at this point is go down and put your numbers where they belong. I usually don't mark the half inch. I usually only mark the inch because everybody knows where the half inch is. And other than that, I would take a little sandpaper, smooth up your edges and your corners. That way it's, you know, not sharp and doesn't poke you or anything. And the only thing you'll have left then is just to start making some paracord bracelets. I'd like to thank everybody that takes the time to watch my videos. It means a lot to me. If it wasn't for you guys, there would be no Mr. Coop. And with that being said, my friends, enjoy. Glad you watched the video, and if you have any comments or questions, put them below. I'll be more than happy to answer them. And old Coop's pretty much gonna say, Coop out.